Right now on Eyewitness News, battered but not broken.
And he took me to the top of the steps and he said, "This is how you're going to die tonight."
Tonight, an alleged victim of domestic violence speaks out about what happened to her and why she believes the justice system has failed her. Plus, turned to ash.
We can destroy them and hopefully keep them out of the hands of people who don't need to have them.
How many prescription pills were taken in as part of a very important program, and the new equipment officers are using to get rid of those drugs. Then, it's time to open the fugitive files, who we're looking for and what they've been charged with.
West Virginia's source for news. Eyewitness News starts right now.
Good evening, I'm Rick Lord.
And I'm Elizabeth Noreika. New at 6 tonight, a convicted felon freed on probation after serving less than 2 years of a 10-year sentence is now accused in a horrific domestic violence case. Eyewitness News reporter Kenny Bass has been digging into this story all day. He joins us now live here in the studio with more. Kenny?
Elizabeth, you may remember the name Daniel Lunsford. Back in 2012, he was convicted of first-degree robbery after pleading guilty to using a butcher knife to hold up Sassy's gaming parlor in South Charleston. Prosecutors recommended 30 years, but Kanawha County Circuit Judge Paul Zacabe gave him only 10. Zacabe later reconsidered that sentence and let him out of jail on probation last year. Now, Lunsford is once again accused of a violent crime. This time, it's domestic battery. We need to warn you that some of the images in the following story may be considered disturbing. This is Tammy Rowe. The 48-year-old Navy veteran lives on Charleston's west side, busy with school and anticipating a new grandchild. And this is Tammy Rowe. After an alleged incident of domestic battery, her live-in boyfriend is accused of beating her in a drunken rage on Friday night.
He dragged me into there. I had already took several blows to the face and head by then, and he took me to the top of the steps and he said, "This is how you're going to die tonight."
Rowe and Lunsford have a troubled history. He's accused of a separate domestic violence incident involving her from May of this year. In that case, Rowe asked authorities to drop the charges, but she says that's not happening this time around.
He lost his footing, which gave me the opportunity to run out the front door. And he ran after me and tackled me in the front yard. And he continued to beat me in my face and choke me, and he choked me till I was unconscious.
What did you think was going to happen?
He said, "You're going to die tonight." And that's exactly what I thought.
Lunsford has a criminal history. He was convicted in 2012 of robbing a Sassy's gaming parlor in South Charleston at knife point. He pleaded guilty and asked the court for mercy.
I'm also asking that God would heal any emotional wounds that I may have caused these ladies. Again, I'm sorry. I prayed to God for forgiveness, and I know I have to be punished for what I've done, and I'm asking the court for mercy.
Lunsford was sentenced to a decade behind bars, but less than 2 years later, Kanawha County Circuit Judge Paul Zacabe granted a motion to reconsider the sentence and gave Lunsford 5 years probation and a year of home confinement. Rowe says the system has failed. She has head, neck, and arm injuries and a broken nose. Rowe says for beating her and violating his probation, the 6'3", 295-pound Lunsford should serve the remainder of his original 10-year prison term.
I think that justice needs to happen and that they need to reinstate his 10-year sentence. This man should have never been turned back loose. He is a monster.
Lunsford is now in the South Central Regional Jail with no bond. He's facing 2 misdemeanor domestic violence charges and is awaiting a hearing on his alleged probation violation. His next court appearance scheduled for October 7th at 9 a.m. when he goes before Kanawha County Magistrate Julie Yeager for a hearing on the revocation of his bond. We'll tell you how that turns out. Reporting live in the studio, Kenny Bass, Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Kenny. Next tonight at 6, a man charged in connection to a St. Albans murder has pled guilty to accessory after the fact. Sean Legg told the court that the victim's daughter, Jessica Woods, admitted to killing her mother, 59-year-old Eva Woods. In February, Eva Woods' body was found in a shed behind her home just outside St. Albans city limits. Legg faces 1 to 3 years when he gets his sentence in November. Jessica Woods was scheduled to go on trial this week, but the court is still awaiting the results of a mental evaluation. Ronnie Gunther has cut a deal in Wayne County Court, pleading guilty to killing 55-year-old William Ward Jennings in a dispute over a dog last November. The 57-year-old will get mercy as part of the plea bargain, meaning he will be eligible for parole after 15 years.
Happening today, an arrest is made in the break-in and thefts at East Bank Middle School, and all the items stolen from the school have been returned. 18-year-old Christopher Shamblin was arrested earlier today by Kanawha County deputies. He is charged with felony breaking and entering, felony grand larceny, and third-degree arson. Shamblin is accused of entering East Bank Middle School through a vent and taking several items from that school. He's also accused of taping together 4 rifle shells and placing them next to the Express Mart on 3rd Avenue in East Bank. Deputies say he lit a newspaper in an attempt to ignite those shells. Surveillance video from both incidents led to Shamblin's arrest. 300 pounds of pills collected and burned today in Putnam County.
Eyewitness News reporter Chris Williams was there. He's now live in the studio as a brand new piece of equipment is making things easier for officers. Chris?
Well, guys, this burn was part of a National Drug Take-Back Day. It was one of the first times the West Virginia State Police had a chance to use their new incinerator. Almost 300 pounds of prescription pills were turned into Putnam County law enforcement over the weekend during Drug Take-Back Day.
Knowing that that's out of their houses, then naturally that's going to decrease crime against the people.
That's because burglars tend to target homes that are likely to contain pills. Tuesday afternoon, deputies, state police, and U.S. Attorney Booth Goodwin were at the Putnam County Courthouse in Winfield to burn those pills in one of the state's new mobile incinerators.
What we hope that will accomplish is to keep it out of the hands of people who are going to divert them for illegal use.
Lieutenant Michael Bayless says in the past the pills had to be shipped to different places around the state to get burned. Now they can take care of all the pills at once at one site.
We can make it a lot easier for people to turn in these medications.
The incinerator burns at a temperature close to 1,000 degrees, turning pills into ash in about 10 minutes.
It goes to show you how much people are, again, being proactive, not reactive, and taking those prescription meds, unused, unwanted, out of the cabinets.
Now, there are 2 national drug take-back days during the year, but Sheriff DeWeese says he always keeps a box at the Putnam County Sheriff's Office so anyone can drop off any unused pills at any time. In the studio, Chris Williams, Eyewitness News.
Chief Meteorologist Jim Barrick joining us now with a first look at the forecast. And there is some rain in the forecast later on in the week.
Yes, we have some pretty good storms coming in later in the week. Now, tonight we do have a little bit of action, but the odds of being hit pretty remote right now. Very isolated. Our live Doppler radar shows not much going on, so we have to really zoom in to find anything. We go into Mason County, and there's one little tiny cell, and that's right near Wyona and heading over towards the east by Moortown. And then we go over to Rowan County, and by Harley, there is a little cell making its way over towards the east. And that's all we're seeing in the viewing area right now. So really not very good odds of getting any rain for you tonight. Here's how things are shaping up for your evening. By 7 o'clock, 73 degrees, partly cloudy. We'll have a few clouds around by 9 when the temperature will be 67 degrees, and it'll be 63 when you tune in for our late news at 11 o'clock. Again, partly cloudy. We'll have some fog forming late, and Rick mentioned those big storms headed this way. I'll let you know what day that is and what time they'll be heading in. That's all in my forecast. You don't want to miss it. I'll see you in a few minutes.
New at 6, Supreme Court justices hearing a lengthy claim by the state Republican Party and the Kanawha County Republican Executive Committee.
Yeah, they're accusing the state election commission of preventing the GOP from replacing Republican delegate Suzette Raines on the ballot. Eyewitness News anchor Stefano DiPietrantonio is here with what happened in court. Steph?
Hey there, Liz and Rick. The Supreme Court heard the Republicans' argument. However, it is late in the game and many absentee ballots have already been mailed out overseas. The Dems argued Republicans should have submitted all of this much sooner. Raines withdrew from her re-election bid earlier this year, citing grief from her mother's death and other personal reasons that she could not fulfill her terms. Democrats accused her of breaking campaign finance laws and lying about her address. The Kanawha County GOP selected Marie Sprouse McDavid to replace her, but the state election committee would not allow it, saying her reasons for withdrawing did not meet the acceptable criteria. The justices say there may have been an error here on the part of the election commission when they failed to consider a precedent set 22 years ago.
I would hope to goodness that the State Election Commission and the Secretary of State charged with enforcing the election laws of this state would understand what the laws are.
People want to see a full ballot on there, and if I don't get on the ballot, I feel that the Republican Party will rally behind me and will make a big push for the write-in candidate.
Now, we spoke with Vera McCormick in the Kanawha County Clerk's office. If the court rules Sprouse McDavid's name must be put on the ballot will be redrawn and then roughly 50,000 of them reprinted for the 35th district. The cost to taxpayers for all this, about $25,000. We'll have much more tonight at 10 and 11. Stefano DiPietro Antonio, Eyewitness News.